Yo, 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 what it is, dudes and dudettes? I'm gonna be your substitute today.
What?
Name's Mr. Wiz Wiz Big Stackz, but Mr. was my old man's name. So you can call me Professor Wiz Wiz Big Stackz if you like.
Here's Miss Branson.
Says here she's got a bad case of the kicks. Quite unfortunate, but I bet you guys are glad to hear that, aren't you?
What? No!
So, entrepreneurship, huh? Guess I better test you little squirts on your sales skills. You there, sell me this pen.
That's my heavy pen.
Sold, kid. Here, I'll give you my lifetime supply of peanut dust. Hey, pigtails, you next.
Please, don't hurt me.
So, you're on the stands. They're accusing you of selling their data to foreign markets. How do you respond?
I want my mammy.
Ooh, not a good look. You see, the media's just gonna tear you to shreds. Well, clearly I have to teach you all a thing or two. See, you need to think like a businessman. Walk like a businessman. Breathe like a businessman. That's enough already, Kyle. Today, I'm gonna teach you about Richard Branson!
I'm gonna find the place on I appear mutant.
Oh, well, that gives me about an hour and 48 minutes. This is Richard Branson. With the name of a 70s game show host and the face of every dad's favorite rock star, this man is one powerful person. Who is this Richard fella, you may ask? Well, he's only the founder of the billion-dollar corporation, Virgin. Okay, guys, reel it in. Don't. Now, there's a long tale, so we'll have to start from the very beginning. Once upon a time, some dude named Rich was born 70 years ago. The year is 1950, and in the heart of England, an air hostess, Eve Flynn, and a barrister, Edward Branson, birth a beautiful bouncing boy. Can you guess what his name was? That's right, Richard Branson. Now, this is a bit too early, so I'm going to skip ahead if you don't mind. In the early 70s, Rich was a young student. However, at the age of 16, Rich dropped out of his education at Stackz School of Buckinghamshire to pursue his own interests.
He's just like me!
This was likely in part due to Richard suffering from dyslexia, a disorder that affects reading ability. Despite this challenge, it's clear that Richie Boy never gave up and persevered, which obviously paid off well in the end. Shortly after dropping out, Richard starts his first real business endeavor by starting up a magazine simply called Student. Gee, I wonder who the target audience is. Now kids, this is an important lesson in branding. Now, you don't want your business to be too odd-sounding and confusing for the normal buyer. The hell is a Snooki's Happy Feet? Instead, be like my main man Rich, and make it simple and down to the point. After a while, his magazine wasn't paying the bills, so Rich moved on to create a mail-order company called Virgin in 1970, getting its name from how Rich was a newbie in the business world. This company later turned into Virgin Records just 3 years later. The record store quickly grew traction for supplying unusual records, most notably Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, the song from the Green Puke movie, as well as artists like the Rolling Stones and the Sex Pistols, how fitting, and, of course, Wumdingers.
Ever heard of Wumdingers? They're pretty good!
Right there, kids, is another important lesson. To get your name out there in the sea of sellers all trying to make it in the world just like you, try to do what your competitor won't. After the success of his record company, Rich was brainstorming where to take his empire next. Yeah. Records. What else is there?
Hey, bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
Oh, on that! Thus, in the 1980s, Branson started his new airline company, Virgin Atlantic Airways. This man was ballsy enough to put the word Virgin on a freaking plane. I mean, a record store? Sure, put that in the mall. Easy peasy. But a dang airline company? And that's a true entrepreneur's confidence, my friends. And that's what you want to do. Expand. If you keep your company stagnant for decades, sure, it might not fall, but it's certainly not going to go up. So what you want to do is keep moving on to the next big thing like Rich did. After his air company really took off, pun intended,
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
our man's brand's got a crazy little twinkle in his eye. So, he started a train company, then a mobile company, then a media company, and so on and so forth. And to top it all off, Virgin Galactic. What's Virgin Galactic, you may ask, my wide-eyed innocent viewers? Well, it's a travel company pioneering space tourism. This man wants to make a commercial rocket that flies tourists to outer space. Gee, honey, the kids have been good recently. Don't you think we should take them on a vacation? No, not to Disneyland, but to the cold, treacherous, empty void of space. What could possibly go wrong? Listen, kids, sometimes you can have too much confidence, alright? And this man couldn't just leave it at wild space fantasies. He had to fly around the world in a freaking hot air balloon. That's right, this man couldn't just wait around in his office counting money. He went out and became the first person to cross the Pacific Ocean in a hot air balloon back in 1987. As crazy as it sounds, this has to be good for business. I mean, who really wants to be sold something? Do people even really like entrepreneurs? When you get an ad on the interwebs, are you like, boy, I want to be friends with whoever forced this junk down my throat? No! And I think that's partly because most of them are just boring. Just stuffy guys in suits in their big chromatic office at the top of a skyscraper. Big Branson, on the other hand, this mogul Brit is flying around Earth in his balloon like some kind of crazy tycoonist from a 1920s novel. Are you kidding me? I'll buy his records. I'll use his data. I'll ride his freaking rocket, only get sucked out and die instantly in the empty vacuum of space. I'll do anything for my home dog, Richard Branson. Oh, if I could ask just one question, but one question, to this glorified cartoon character, I'd simply ask what he was gonna do next. Welp, kids, that's the Ballad of Richard Branson. You guys learn anything? Perfect! Now, allow me to tell you kids about how Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg kills everything he eats himself. Yeah, that's right. I find nothing more rewarding than going out and finding a lowly bison, stalking it for hours, then piercing its body with an arrow, only to finish it off with a machete and watch its eyes become as lifeless as mine.
Hello, students. I'll be your substitute today. Sorry for me a tad late. The cops were lining up and down the highway like you wouldn't believe. It was crazy. Oh, say, you guys all right? You look like you've seen a ghost.
See you later, suckers!